Welcome to our Free Speech Zone, where we do a deep dive into trauma and reintegration. This is Combat Citizen. Welcome back to the Combat Citizen Trauma and Reintegration Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stanton, and we usually go over your trauma and reintegration. But today, we're going to do something a little different. So I've been chatting about, actually mentioned BattleBox, which is the sponsor for this podcast. And I wanted to kind of do a different episode where we actually talked about BattleBox and anything remotely related to BattleBox. So brought on one of the founders of BattleBox, Echo Alexander. She is a oils person. Wonderful. So thank you for joining the podcast.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
So let's see, where did we start? I know the first person, well, there was three of us originally. There was Steven and you and I. So yeah, so I think the first thing we could talk about is kind of how it started.
It all began in a Subaru and a ziplock bag.
Oh my God. I know. So for those of you that are going to watch
sounds like
the
a
video,
drug deal in Portland.
It's a total drug deal, dude. Okay.
We're in Oregon. It's fine.
So it's funny when you actually need, so primarily use BattleBox for essential oils. That was the first thing that we use it for. I actually had these little, well, I would get these blends from Echo and she would hand me these Ziploc bags. It was wonderful. And then I, of course, put them in my pocket, totally forget about it, sit on it, whatever happens, throw it in my truck, lose it, can't figure out what the fuck it went. And I'm just like, oh, I need more. And then I call up Echo and she's like, yeah.
First one's free. Next one's going to cost you.
Exactly. And I'm like, okay, that's cool, but I still need it. Anyways, so yeah, so plastic bags. And then it went to what? Little meshy bags?
Yeah, there are, lots of different little options trying to get them to you. That was the key.
Yeah.
Didn't have a strategy beyond that.
Well,
No.
out of curiosity, how often were you giving him sage oil?
Sage oil?
Mm-hmm.
Not very often.
Okay, I was going to say, if
it's not one of my top 20.
If he's breaking that stuff out and he's going into homes, there were a lot of haunted houses that lost their haunt,
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and you and Steven went on a race, right? And that's
when
he saw the baggie.
Oh God,
it became
that's
the issue.
right. Because he was like, Steven,
He's like, what is happening right now? And why are you putting a Ziploc baggie in my car?
And just in case it breaks, it's gonna be and we're
You're not gonna be very calm if it breaks.
No, because we're driving around with this amazing smell, but still it's like you can't get it out. Yeah, and then of course, you possibly accidentally leave it in a hotel room. That could or couldn't have happened. I'm hypothetical. Okay. So anyways, it comes down to Steven going, we need to think of something different for this, because ultimately I don't see people really using baggies all the time. And I'm sure, there's a lot of different other things out there, like, there's leather pockets or things like that.
There's all kinds of zipper pouches and things. I mean, I certainly have some in my pocket at all times, in my purse and my different bags. But yeah, the reality is, how do we make it on the go as a part of life?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, so Steven was like, you know what, let me solve this issue. And so he was like, yeah, we're gonna come up with something that's a more hard case. I remember having a conversation with him about it, and he's like, yeah, dude, we got to do something different.
Well, and I feel like the other factors are involved that, what you do for a living. Okay, so what's on Ryan's person at any given moment is probably like cargo pants and, so the specs have to match Ryan's lifestyle, which is pocket, work pants, truck. So as long as we can fit within those parameters.
Yeah. Well, and especially because you're like, okay, so I'm up on a roof, or, I'm up on a ladder, and not that I tend to use my oils when I'm up on the
those
ladder.
places.
But
Prior to, maybe after.
well, there had been times where I had things in my pocket and I would go to try to get something out, like I don't know, if I had my keys or whatever, try to put something in, and my oils would like fall out. Of course, it's still in the plastic baggie, but it wasn't a good solution. So yeah, came up with what's called is the BattleBox. Yay! And as Andy has said, cell phones can go into it. Small phones.
Yeah, small cell phones. Yeah, if you have an older style or a smaller style cell phone, because I don't think everybody wants the giant phablet all the time.
No. Yeah.
But it goes to show what you can keep in the BattleBox. I mean, personally, I need to get a second one from you so that I can put just some like matches and Band-Aids and stuff like that in the truck, because we're starting to get into that time of the year where, we're driving off road and we're maybe getting into more hairy situations, and you need something that's going to keep the moisture out.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It definitely has different uses. Oh, we need to talk about it. So we're the snow trip or the
yeah.
I remember that.
I feel like you have to like introduce it's like indestructible plastic case with all this stuff.
Yeah. So we
like you can slam it on the floor and it's not gonna have an issue. It's got padding inside. It's ready to rock.
Yeah, this one I've actually dropped off a ladder, and everything's in there survived. I've actually one day I actually threw it off a roof just to see if it would work, and it did. Another was we were stuck on the freeway. It was snowing. We were coming back from California. Yeah. Or where we were coming back from California, San Diego. Yeah, and it was snowing, and so we were stuck on the road. And
when you leave San Diego, you don't pack your truck with like, I'm gonna grab the ice scraper. That's a part of this road trip. Like that's not on the to-do list.
It doesn't really come to mind.
So when you get into a snowstorm in Oregon, you're like, wasn't ready for that. Now what? Snowing, there's ice on the windshield wipers. What do we do?
So I pull out the BattleBox. I don't remember what like number we used it for, but it was and I'm like taking the BattleBox and just scraping the window. Like, there's an outside. Okay.
So you never know. In a pinch, you might be able to scrape your windshield with the BattleBox. Totally worked.
Hey, I'm sure there's other uses like defense issue. If you got to hit somebody,
beat someone with it.
Absolutely. It's kind of like brass knuckles. No, I don't know.
I bet an LPC 380 would fit in that.
Oh, what is that? Oh, is that brass knuckles?
It's that micro. No, it's that micro compact 380 pistol.
So it might hold a gun. Okay. So here's the thing about it is you never know what somebody's going to have with these things.
Look, you've seen the 410, 45 Derringers, right? Yeah, exactly. It'd fit in one of those easy.
Tiny.
Yeah. That's your survivalist pack right there.
Yeah. And I think having all those small things in one spot, so it's not all over my car, my truck, whatever, having it all one spot. I travel all the time, so I need to have things like not, where's that one? And one's in my backpack and one's in my purse and whatever. It's just there, all the things.
Yeah, that used to be me. Now it's like, how many BattleBoxes do you actually have in your truck?
And then if you stay with your friends at a hotel in San Diego where you all have multiple BattleBoxes, I picked up the wrong one and I was like, what are these things? This is not my lipstick. What's happening?
So we're actually, that's one of the things I've been thinking about is like covers, like, okay, so something on the back or something identification or something like that. Because they all look the same. Like a little BattleBox, little label, and
I feel like you could probably engrave it in some way. That would be pretty rad.
Oh, you could. I know. Was it David Tremblay?
Mm-hmm.
Him and I were talking about Joe Tremblay. We were talking about having it as like different covers. Maybe you and I are talking about this too. Different covers. The different branches and
exactly
like that. Or make it more lady friendly, like pink.
There you go.
Or green. I don't know.
If you pick pink camo, we were not going to be friends anymore. Not Pink County.
No.
I'm going to put my foot down on that.
I might not even ship it if that were the case.
Or maybe just, different patches. I got some patches on the wall. My husband and I ruck. So for us, like patches, that'd be rad. So you could switch it out like
That's
on our
a great
rucksack.
idea.
We do, depending on if I just did a ruck, I'll put up, that patch from whatever I just completed. I don't know.
BattleBox patches.
Customized.
I like it.
Exactly. We the people.
There we go. I like that. So
my patches, these are the only patches I have besides my better luck next time.
Nice.
I won this at a long distance shoot that I went to. I had a brand new rifle that had not been sighted in, and I didn't end up hitting anything because apparently the optics were crazy cheap on the rifle.
Nice.
God. It says you tried.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Good effort.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like not to be offensive or anything. It's kind of like the trophies for kids now.
Participation
trophies. 30, you didn't win, but every 15 others, you get a participation trophy.
Ryan, I need you to understand something. Playing soccer without the ball builds character. There's no winners and there's no losers.
Exactly.
We're doing dry drills. Like, okay, you're just or footwork. We're working on footwork.
We're imagining there's a ball.
Yeah, I think you mean our trophy comrade.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I never was that kind of person. I was like, what? If I'm wearing first, second, and third, that's all. Other than that, I lost. Okay. I'm a loser. I understand it. I failed. Now I'm going to work to get back on that. So anyways.
And then you pull out your motivation blend and
go
again for the next time.
My belief. And I'm like, oh yeah. In the morning, get your belief. You're like, the day started. Let's do this. And then of course, peppermint. Peppermint is like, gotta roll with the peppermint.
What's the belief mix?
I don't know all the blends by memory, but there's a lot of different ones that you can imagine are more on the emotional support side, whether it's motivation, belief, harmony. Valor is actually my go-to in the morning. Valor. It's like liquid courage. And some of the oils and that they actually used, the different soldiers in history over time, they, anoint themselves with those things going into battle. And so I'm like, yeah, that's 2020. Yeah, let's do that.
I dig it.
That reminds me, I do need Valor. I need to get some more.
That's like the morning.
Yeah.
It's not even in my box because it's like on my person in my system before I even leave the house. So
you're like, and
this day is not happening until that's going. So yeah.
Okay. So I'm thinking I wanted to start talking about kind of segue into health and wellness.
Yeah.
So not really sure where I want to go with this, but we'll kind of start.
Yeah. The source of the calming blend is like the perfect story to tie this together.
Yeah. Because that was the first one because, going to meetings and everything else and anxiety, because, it really works for anxiety. That it was the first one that Echo was like, you know what? We're going to have you try this.
Yeah.
Of course, it's amazing.
Yeah. And that's it. Obviously, I'm not a doctor. I sometimes I play one on TV, but that's different. So I'm certainly not here to diagnose. The FDA doesn't give me that kind of authority, but just sharing our personal experiences, what we've done. And so that's how I came to this blend of oil. So I'm not, like I said, not a certified aromatherapist, but just have used what works for me and done a lot of research for my own personal health and wellness and for my husband. And so so our story, and I have permission from my husband to share our story, but he grew up in a place of trauma and had a lot of, like you say, anxiety, PTSD, those sorts of things. So, no small challenges to overcome emotionally and psychologically. And so, I think a lot of people have this same story. I feel like when we share this, that it rarely resonates of, been there in counseling, done all the medications, done all those things, right? Trying to resolve these issues, solve this challenge. And so, we'd been there, done that, tried them all, and it wasn't working. I think the year before we got to the solution for us, I think my husband was in and out of the emergency room of, I think, 9 times with major panic attacks and issues. And that's certainly just not sustainable at any capacity. And, but again, doing the things in counseling, actively seeking treatments, trying to resolve the issues some other way. And so, for us, I'm, in a married situation, I'm at wit's end, like anything I can do to overcome this, support my husband, and when you're getting side effects from the medications you're on that are worse than maybe where you started, it's like, man, there's got to be another answer. And so, I researched and just sort of threw the whole thing I had at it, okay, what can I do to support this in another way? And so that's how we came to what we call the calming blend. Calming, whatever that means to you, you can interpret that. So, but yeah, that's really, and so, when I met Ryan, we got to, do business together and get to know each other more personally. I'm like, okay, this is my experience. This has really worked for my husband. We've been able to get him off of medication and really into a different place using natural solutions, and switching our lifestyle too. How can we get off chemicals and the other things that are triggering him emotionally, the foods and those sorts of things, as well as the, let's not set him up to fail because he's eating a lot of, food dyes and artificial ingredients and putting chemicals in our body and cleaning our home with all these things, let's get all the yuck out. And then we can help the emotional piece really more easily. So I introduced Ryan and said, okay, give this a try. You have nothing to lose. There's no side effects. There's no, downside or dosing, or just try it out, breathing an essential oil in within 30 seconds, you're going to know if it's working. It's going to be into your bloodstream. I can't imagine a faster, easier, no risk trial than here, smell this and walk into that room that is going to cause concern or stress maybe, and come back out and tell me how it works.
Yeah, it was definitely the 30 seconds. Like I literally would just have to, because I go to a lot of meetings or did go to a lot of meetings. But anyways, I had to go to a lot of meetings just for business. And, just like Echo said, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put this on 30 seconds. Sometimes it's 15. It doesn't matter. And then you walk in the room, you're like, hey, how's it going? And you're like, I literally lasted probably like 5-10 minutes, and then I'd walk back out again. But still, it really helped to be able to be, because I have anxiety of being with a large group of people.
I think even honestly, if we're honest, those of us even without traumas or those sorts of things have our own versions. A lot of us do, really. I think anxiety is one of the words that we hear a lot, today, whether it's just situational anxiety or just overwhelmed with what's going on. I know for me, it's even more my breathing. If I'm covering my face and different things, that causes me a panic level that some people may not experience. So we all, I feel like, have different levels of stress, whatever we call that in our lives. But yeah, how can we support ourselves when we know that's going to come up, like proactively? Or, you're, the holidays come up and you're going to be around those people that might cause those things. So I love the idea that I can have a solution in my, in my pack, in my box, and ready to go, knowing I'm coming back to that place.
Yeah. And I don't advocate like what I did, because it's not probably
don't
the best.
Do what Ryan did.
But I was taking the calming blends or calming blend, and I would go into meetings. And I remember this one meeting where I think I stepped out 8 times. Like it was just retarded. Like, and I'm trying to be there. I'm trying to do my thing. I'm trying to network. Talk to people.
Yeah,
and
you're trying to build relationships and be present with people, and it's hard when you're.
Of course, it's a room where it's like, and I have other issues that I deal with, like sound issues, things like that. And so I'm in this room, and it's like this sound is like bouncing off everywhere, and I'm just like, oh my god. And of course it's like the social anxiety and then the sound issues, and then I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, I'll be right back. And so I hold that thought and I'd leave the room, and then of course I'm like, okay, wait, calming blend. Walk back in the room, talk to people for however long, and then it'd happen again. But the thing about it is, like, the thing I love about the calming blend is, someone that deals with anxiety or like any related issues such as like, panic attacks. Geez, I had panic attacks all the time. I haven't really had a panic attack very often anymore, which is awesome. Although I'm not really going to meetings much anymore. That's a different story. But being able to be in a room and talk with people, and then like if something's happening, being able to be like, you know what, hold on a second. And I literally got to the point where like I literally was taking that thing out right in front of people.
You're like,
sniffing the calming blend and then putting my BattleBox back together. I literally got the point where I'm like,
hold please. Yeah, I feel like we should all. I feel like we should all do a hit while we're here.
Let's do this.
You know,
let's do this. I got my calming blend and my. Actually, I need to transfer this from the baggie to the BattleBox now.
Yeah. So no joke. The moment I open this, I can smell it. Those little molecules are up in the air. 30 seconds, and this guy's in there. Yeah. Breathing it in through your skin's totally fine. I put it right here. You just because it's convenient behind your ears. If you don't like the smell of essential oil, it's no biggie. Put it on the bottom of your feet. It'll absorb just the same, all the same health benefits. Those pores are actually really big on your feet. Just put it right on there. You don't need to smell it. That's one way to get it in, but totally optional.
Women, if you want your husband to be calm and he's asleep, exactly. Put it on his feet.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend whose partner was not open to the natural solutions. It's just she'll wait till he falls asleep, loads up his feet, and then he sleeps super good because he's prone to night terrors.
Oh, geez.
And so yeah, he really struggles at night. And my husband's got a lot of nightmares and those sorts of things. So yeah, loading up your feet again. You don't even need to smell it. You don't even need to like participate. And that's the story of how I got my husband. We were just to this point. I'm telling you, like, how do we keep this together and support him in a healthy way? And so I found a blend. It wasn't this one, but again, another one to really support sort of those longer term traumas and things. And so I said, okay, we're doing this. I'm putting this oil on your body. This is happening. And so I remember clearly he's in the bathroom, like facing the mirror. And I'm like, give me your foot. And he's like, what? I'm like, give me your foot. Like, this is happening. And I like take it and I like put it on his foot and like put a sock on him, like go to bed. Like this is happening. And so he's like, whatever. We do this for a couple of weeks, because consistency, right? It matters. You got to like get the stuff on board and get the yucky stuff out. And so we do this a couple of weeks and then like I forget. And he's like, are you gonna put my oils on? I'm like, yeah. Sure. And so he had noticed it. Like I didn't say anything, but he was like, yeah, are you gonna do that? Like I need you to put the oils on, to do it. And so that was sort of the point where he was like, this is working. Like this isn't a placebo. This isn't her telling me it's working. Like he felt it, right? I can't have that experience for him. And so he was like, oh my gosh, this is working. And so then that was like our first step. And he's a massage therapist. So for us, we used a lot of the essential oils for cleaners and just other things. Like I said, get toxins out of his life because those are causing emotional stress. Those are causing endocrine disruption. We got to get those chemicals out of his body so that his body can deal with day-to-day stress, not just overboard of chemicals and other things. So for us, getting him, in his office at our house now at night, he's got this thing going on his feet. And then we got to the calming blend and I'm not kidding. He would not leave the house without it. Like we could leave the house without his wallet or his phone or anything else. Like me, that's fine. But like calming blend, we will go back for. And so, yeah, for us, it was a couple of years progression. And honestly, now I remember, maybe a year ago now, I saw it on the bed. I was like, oh my gosh, he's at work and he didn't bring it. I was like, oh no, I'm like panicking. Like I got to get this to work in case he needs it. So I like go down there and he's like, no, I left it at home. I'm like, you did what? Like, this is the thing that you used to not literally be able to leave the house without. And he's like, no, I've been feeling really good. And like, he got to that point where he's like, no, I chose to leave it. It was good. Yeah. And so really it is a progression. He went through that phase. Like you said, he'd take it out and hold it. There was days he didn't even take the cap off. So it's going from, like you say, every 30 seconds breathing it and, in your meeting 10 times to he would get to where he'd just hold it. He'd just have it with him, knew it was there. And then to where he didn't necessarily carry it every day. He does sometimes and other times he doesn't. So,
I'm kind of at the same point too, because I remember like leaving the house and then be like, oh shit,
go back.
I mean, I would literally be late to clients' houses because I have
like,
to get
trust me, you want me to have this.
Or like meetings, I'd be like, I need to get the box. Because you walk through a meeting and you're like, I need to have my calming blend, so I don't have it, right? And so yeah, I got to that point where, and it's weird because I actually thought not bad of it, but I'm like, this is kind of weird. Like I was so used to needing to have it all the time, and then I got to the point where I'm like, well, I'm either forgetting it or purposely leaving it at home or leaving it in my backpack and forgetting about it. Cause I'll go to places to do homework or whatever else. And anyway, so yeah, now I'm just like,
Yeah,
So
it's
I literally had to
fascinating to
search
me
for it
that
this
we
morning.
can find these tools, find these natural solutions to where really you can support your body and you can progress and get to this point where it's maybe not the required issue like it was. And I'm not hearing those stories with people on prescription medications. I don't know.
I left my prescription medication accidentally, but I still needed it. So I was, no, I'm just kidding. No, I don't take prescription medications.
Unfortunately, those are like lifelong sentences to
I've
addiction and
been there, done that. And no, like I remember, short story. I remember Megan, first, I don't know. Megan's my wife, guys. Hi. Okay.
hey, Megan.
Meeting, dating and everything else. And she's like, yeah, because I was on medications for stuff. And she's like, no, we're going to get you off of this. I'm like, thank God. But it would have been nice to have essential oils at that first point in time. But you know what? So, I'm just curious, when did you guys start using essential oils?
I feel like I've always been more on the natural path in life. My mom was awesome at researching things and nutritional supplements and all kinds of things. And the short version of my story is I was a college athlete. And so in the NCAA, we drug tested. And it's like, I've got a scholarship on the line.
Oh,
Like if I test positive, I will lose my scholarship. I will lose the opportunity to go to college. Like that's a big deal to me. And so for me, I just wouldn't take anything. I was just too scared, right? If I pop on something, then that's the end. And so I was, whatever. And I found a company that, offered $1 million athlete guarantee to an athlete that they wouldn't pop based on this nutritional supplement. And I thought, well, there's companies out there that are willing to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
And it introduced me to the concept of, what's the FDA allow, what's in the grocery store versus what's actually safe and healthy for my body. And so I saw for the first time a company that was like, this is legit. We know what's in our product. It's not a surprise. It's quality, that conversation of like, well, it's in the grocery store. It's safe. Like, no, not necessarily. You got to read the back and see what it says there. So for me, finding a company that was willing to do health and nutrition at that level, I was like, oh, wow. Okay. I'm in, $1 million.
That's quite a guarantee.
Yeah. And so I did, and then I felt comfortable doing so. And then, fast forward after college and, just continuing this lifestyle. And like I said, for my husband and I, finding things that worked for his massage therapy practice. I don't want you on Clorox wipes and all this stuff. It's bad for you. It's bad for your clients. So as he's coming through school, we kind of found essential oils as a supplement, as a way to add to nutrition and the other things that we were focusing on. I want all this yucky stuff out of my house and out of his office. And then, we added this whole other emotional component once we realized that was on the menu. And so for us, that was a game changer, like I said, in his life and our marriage, and having that opportunity to introduce things. Like I said, I'm, right there with him on the emotional side, whether it's valor in the morning to go out and kick ass for the day, or, if I'm really feeling stressed, my go-to is peace and calming. It's like way gentler than maybe the calming blend. It's in the calming blend, but it's just a really simple day-to-day go-to of like, okay, I don't know if my friend Bobby used to work with ABC House, but he would do Stress Away. I'll never forget. He's standing there. He like closes his eyes. He got Stress Away. It's a blend, and he's like huffing it. And someone's like walking up to him. He's like, "Not now, on a break." So all of us, I'm telling you, all of us need that. And so when we have a solution that we can support ourselves naturally that way, and we can trust our health to something or to a company that is willing to commit and be at that level of quality. And then for us, man, find the BattleBox is like, okay, now I can have it as a daily carry, right? You see those pictures on Instagram, like, what's your daily carry? Like, here's my sidearm, here's my BattleBox, what that looks like. So I think having something to support people, whether it's an emotional support that they need, or it's just more of a practical thing, wherever they're at, having a solution. I mean, there's over 600 different products from the company that I trust my health to. So,
geez, that many?
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what we're talking about. We've got an answer to help you. And then you just can make your own. Again, what works for you might not work for Megan. And so having that flexibility to say, okay, well, that didn't work. I'm going to add a little more of this, or I'm going to try something different. I love that, having those options and tools.
Yeah. I, crazy little weird story, but, I remember being at a meeting, and I had somebody come up to me. It was Ashley. Yeah. And people know that I take essential oils, and, of course, everybody's like, oh, can I smell you?
Right. This is like an honest thing we have to warn people about. My
You will
husband has
smell
a huge
good.
beard, and so he puts them in his beard for his like face and health and all that. I'll walk up and like huff him. Like, I just need some of this. Give me a minute. He's like, do I need to be here for this? Yeah. So that's real. Your friends will know to come and smell you.
Hell, I used to get that all the time anyways.
Just in principle.
Do you just smell good in
just
general?
smell fantastic.
Well, I'm just saying, like, people will walk up and touch your beard. I don't need to give them more of a reason
it's
to.
the beautiful beard. It just attracts people.
That's actually one of the positives about COVID. I can put it in my beard, the essential oils, and then put my mask on.
It's true. Absolutely, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My masks don't ever go empty. My masks always have essential oils in them.
I actually wore a mask once.
How did that go?
Oh my God. So coming to find out, don't sniff peppermint oil before you put your mask on.
But that was intense.
And I'm literally ordering coffee. I'm in margin. I'm like, oh my, it was like, oh, I mean, of course my mask is like over the top. And I'm like,
you got punched in the face by peppermint.
Oh,
it's so strong.
I was walking off like, I knew, you know what coffee I want. I'll be right back. I'm like, oh, it was so bad. No, that was the first time and only time I wore a mask.
Yeah.
No. But yeah.
There's definitely oils that are very serious. They have to be reckoned with. Peppermint is not to be
played
with. It can tiny amounts. People don't believe me. I might say like put a toothpick in and like use that amount. And they're like, what? That's crazy. I'm like, not even a drop. I'm talking less than 1 drop.
Yeah.
Of peppermint will clear you right out or do,
you know, I usually do like peppermint sometimes at night, like before I can do, schoolwork and stuff like that. Just to wake up.
It really is an alerting. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And
I can't do it at night because then I won't sleep.
Well, I'm kind of a night owl.
Yeah,
so, 12:30, 1 o'clock, things like that. But it's funny when you start sniffing things I never thought I would say in my life.
Write this down.
I'm at home and I'm like sniffing the peppermint and Megan looks over from the couch. She's like,
that face.
Don't worry, baby.
Gives you.
Just getting peppermint, okay? I'm just waking myself up so I can do school. And she's like, I remember that first time. Now she's like, okay.
It's
fine. And Ryan's just sniffing.
That's often the story of the spouse that they're just like, you're super weird and that's okay. And we're going to do it anyway. And
well, going to origin stories of like using essential oils. I remember I started using it. And then like now Megan's like, hey, babe, can you hand me over the CBD and can you hand me over the roller and and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's true. There's often a spouse that's like, nope, you're a super weirdo. And you're like, yeah, that's true. But these oils are actually pretty sweet.
But you can see the benefits.
I am a weirdo, but
well, it's super funny when, I usually like for me now, I'll usually put the CBD on like CBD roller or take the CBD or whatever prior to like when my wife gets home, because I tend to be an ass sometimes. And, I used to have the asshole blend. I need to get the asshole blend again. Anyways, but, and so, she'd come home and so I'd take the CBD and we're having a conversation. And there's one time where I remember, she was just not in a good mood. She came home and she's like, so I'm like,
here you go. I love you. And here you go.
Try the calming blend. And she's like, no, I don't really want to take it. I want to just talk. And I go, try the calming blend. Then we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. And it's true. And that's an interesting thing about the CBD specifically from these guys is it is actually mixed with essential oil. So they have a blend they call Calm. It's not our calming blend, but it's CBD and essential oil. So it's got that I've used that one as well. It's sitting on my desk for when I'm at work and stressing about work stuff. So having that is my go-to of like this meeting is not going the way I need. Like, yeah.
I and going with the asshole blend, I'm an asshole. So there's times where we're going to be in a meeting and I know I was going to say something and I go,
I wish we still had this piece of paper that I originally gave you. You like described to me your problems and I made you blends for each one. I can't remember what they all were. It was like calming blend. I already have that handled, so I'll make you that one. And then there was like asshole blend. Check.
Yeah, there was
a third one. What was it? Like not kill someone blend?
I think so. Yeah, I'd have to look it up because I know I took a picture and put it on my phone. But yeah, it was.
And I was like, start with these, and then we're going to come back and see, okay, that worked or that didn't work. And then there was a lot of common themes in those oils. So I was like, this will be perfect. If these work well for your body, then we'll order you these and go from there. But yeah, I think it's appropriate to name fun blends that way. My friend Gina's got a big balls blend. I mean, she rolls with that thing. Like, so you had Super Soldier, right? I mean, that was pretty rad.
That's right.
It's
Super
blue,
Soldier.
dark blue. It was
I need to get that again.
I think that's blue tansy in there. That's in peace and calming too. It makes it like super green.
That's an amazing blend.
Yeah.
Like I worked out to that blend. It was amazing. You're like, oh yeah, let's do this. And you're like, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah. I'm telling you, hundreds of oils and mixed all different ways. And there's just so much history too. I mean, people don't realize the last time I was doing a podcast about oils, it was the essential oils of ancient scripture. I mean, we're talking like biblical times that's how these things came to be in the stories. And pretty sure we've heard, the Christmas story of, baby Jesus and frankincense and myrrh. Hello.
That's true.
And if you think about that, again, I'm a health and wellness educator. What are the most valuable things you could give to another human? Money in our world is a reality, right? So there's gold, frankincense. I can't say anything about that other than you need to go Google that and the health benefits of frankincense. And there's like 17,000 researched uses and health benefits that have been documented. So if you're going to give someone gold to survive in this world, frankincense to overcome potential health challenges and boost their health and support, I mean, that's the oil. Go Google that, figure out what that's good for, and your mind will be blown. And even what they're doing in hospitals outside of the United States using that essential oil, it's mind blowing. So giving someone health and the ability to survive financially, like those are the most valuable gifts literally that you can give another person is their health. And I mean, my husband sees this in his massage practice, when you can alleviate someone's pain and suffering, like that's what he does in his day-to-day work is helping people. You've been on his table. He's going to torture you for a while, but then at the end, if you can make someone feel better, like that can change their life.
Well, especially when he's like, I'm going to hurt you. It's going to hurt. Or do you have a high tolerance for pain? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I'm like, ah!
People develop Tourette's on his table.
You're like, whoa. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think in just overall finding better ways to, do things without chemicals in your body.
Yeah. And that's it. I think that it's hard to start. Maybe people maybe really aren't sure where to start, or they see stuff, like I said, at the grocery store and they think, well, that seems good. But I'll be honest, that's unfortunate. A huge area of struggle is greenwashing these companies that say, oh, I'm natural and I'm safe, or I've got lavender at the, essential oil at the grocery store. Like, unfortunately, that stuff's just garbage. That's all there is to it. So do a little research, reach out to somebody that knows and can sort of point you down the road and find, like I said, these companies you can literally like bet the farm on and trust your health and wellness to. Don't sell it to the lowest bidder is what I always tell people. Like, don't sell your health out that way. Don't be cheap and fake. Like,
well, especially if you're, having to do it daily, it's like you're telling me, a good way to start really is to start replacing the products and things like that in your house. I mean, not really trying to be a sell on, but it's like, what, if you want to get started, you got to start small.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And that's what we did in our house. I mean, we replaced the cleaning products with I don't want to say Febreze. It's not the wrong one. What is it? I can't remember. The
Thieves.
Yeah, there we go. Thieves. The Thieves spray. Okay.
Yeah.
Thieves are great. You can do it everywhere. But no, we just started smaller.
I think if you're honest, your body intuitively knows, like oven spray, like traditional, like your body knows, like this is bad for me and I'm losing brain cells. Exactly. Like, your body knows that, right? It gives me a headache when I use it. Like it says on the bottle, it's literally poisonous.
Yeah.
And toothpaste says that, for instance. People put it in their mouth 2 or 3 times a day. So the fact that it's at the grocery store is not the thing that makes it safe. So yeah, take a step, do a little research, be open to the idea of like, okay, this thing seems weird and whatever, but I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
And you may find that you love the smell of it. It smells like Christmas and it can clean your floors. Like that's awesome. And so I think people just need to feel comfortable to take that step, and maybe they know that thing in their house, that candle that they're burning, whatever that looks like to them is like, that's probably not good for me. But I like good smells, or I want something that really works. So I get that. Figure it out. We can do some research, and like I said, it's probably not what's coming from the grocery store, but
yeah. Cool. Well, I think we've got a good history of BattleBox, and it's a good start on health and wellness.
Yeah.
So
you probably should just tell people where they can find it.
I know, right? So battlebox.co, not com.co is the website. And if you're an Instagram person, we're on Instagram as well. It is just your BattleBox is the handle. Is that the handle?
Yeah.
Okay. Handle. And he's shaking.
Check it out if you're on the social medias.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, the website.
We're going to try to do a little bit more of this. I think it's a good idea, because in reality, we're talking about transition with veterans, and there's a lot of things that veterans do deal with, or even even those that have, like not even veterans, like James, has PTSD and different issues and anxiety and such. And it's definitely.
Well, I think finding those solutions as a family,
yes,
that a veteran is not the only one that's going to be facing stress and trauma and anxiety and those sorts of things. Not to downplay it at all, but as a family, I think finding these natural things, getting both on board and figuring out what that looks like for people, that how can the whole family be involved in this, not just this is your issue.
Yeah, and I found out, like, through research and talking to other vets, is that, or even other people that are dealing with stuff, it's just not the person that's dealing with it, it's everyone else.
Absolutely.
So
I think I'm encouraged that there's really good solutions out there for people to make it a part of their daily life, make it simple for their carry, like I said, their daily carry, whatever that looks like for them, making that a reality. So it can certainly be at home. That's a fantastic solution, but making it a part of day-to-day life. It's not, if I remember it tonight when I get home. It's part of our daily lives, and that's what BattleBox has helped us do.
Yeah, I think all in all, it's a good start in our life to be able to get a good focus and having that stuff with us at all times. So
absolutely.
Well, thanks everybody for listening.
Where can they find Combat Citizen?
Oh yeah, Combat Citizen. It's actually on Instagram as well. It's Combat Citizen, handle Combat Citizen, or email. It's combatcitizen.tr@gmail. If you do want to strike up a conversation. And then we do have a Facebook group out there, or Facebook page, not group. Well, we have both, but Facebook page. And it's a Combat Citizen Trauma and Reintegration podcast. It's a long, whatever, but go search for that. And we'll be posting, trying to post the different things on there, just updates, things like that. And then also the next episodes things. So as always, thank you everybody for liking and subscribing. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Yeah,
so,
appreciate coming.
And just make sure to share this episode and listen to other episodes as well. So thank you everybody.